Why there is opposition to a domestic violence bill in Pakistan? A bill aiming to protect women, children, the elderly, and other vulnerable groups from domestic violence has exposed fault lines and divided opinions in Pakistan. What is the proposed legislation and why is there opposition? A new bill that proposes stringent punishment against the perpetrators of domestic violence has exposed fault lines and divided opinions in Pakistan. With opposition against the proposed legislation mounting from certain quarters, advisor to the Prime Minister on Parliamentary Affairs Babar Awan has written to a letter to National Assembly Speaker Ashad Kaisar seeking a review of the Domestic Violence Bill 2021 by the Council of Islamic Ideology CII. But why is the bill dividing opinions and who are opposing it? What is the proposed legislation? The bill proposes stringent punitive measures against all forms of domestic violence. It states that any act of domestic violence will be punishable with imprisonment of a maximum period of 3 years and not less than 6 months. Moreover, fines ranging from 20,000 to 1 lakh can be imposed on the perpetrator. The bill aims to protect women, children, the elderly, and other vulnerable groups from domestic violence. It also seeks to offer relief and rehabilitation to all individuals who are victims of domestic violence. What is the status of the bill? The bill was moved in the National Assembly by Human Rights Minister Sirin Majari on April 19 this year and passed in the lower house on the same day. When it was introduced in the Senate, the opposition insisted on sending the bill to a standing committee. Pakistan's People Party member and leader of opposition, Yusuf Raza Gilani, had then said, though the proposed legislation was important, the standing committee should review it. The committee was thereafter asked by the Senate chairperson to submit a report on the bill. The report went on to propose multiple amendments to the draft, after which the bill was referred back to the National Assembly. Last month, the opposition raised an alarm in the Senate over how key human rights bills were disappearing in a black hole. A wrong practice is going on for quite some time, which is disincentive for members of the Senate who work hard on the bills with the civil society and their colleagues. Dawn quoted Pakistan's People Party parliamentary leader Senator Sari Rahman as saying in the Senate, the bill was passed by the Senate last month and is now awaiting presidential assent. Who is opposing the bill and why? In the letter dated July 5 that he wrote to Kaisar Awan said, many concerns have raised regarding various definitions and other contents of the bill. The letter stated most importantly it is being highlighted that the bill contravenes the Islamic and way of life as enshrined in responsibility of the state in Article 31 of the Constitution of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. He added that it is advisable to refer the bill to the CII as the Constitution empowers the Islamic Council to advise a House, a provincial assembly, a president or a governor on any question referred to it as to whether proposed law is or is not repugnant to the of Islam. The bill has attempted to come up with a broad definition of domestic violence by including all forms of physical violence, verbal and physiological abuse, and any act which is essentially a breach of consent under its ambit. While this has attracted praise from certain quarters which have lauded the proposed legislation, as visionary, more conservative sections and religious hardliners have criticized the bill, saying it is too open-ended and has too many loopholes which can be misused. Recently, many people in Pakistan have been tweeting with the We Reject Domestic Violence bill to express their opinion. Why is the demand for a law against domestic violence important in Pakistan? Even as the bill drew the ire of many religious hardliners and conservative sections, there was significant pushback, with many pointing out that an extensive law against domestic violence was the need of the hour. Popular Pakistani actor and writer Osmat Khalid Butt was among those who took to Twitter to criticize the vocal opposition to the bill. Why is there an extremely disturbing hashtag calling to reject the domestic violence bill, one that's already passed by the Senate? What is so controversial about this bill? He wrote, adding, this isn't a rhetorical question. I am seeing stuff like Khandani Nizam ki tabahi, promoting boyfriend girlfriend culture. This bill is breaking our family system. I am truly at a loss here. The debate over the bill come at a time when there are several reports of instances of domestic violence against women having escalated in Pakistan during the pandemic. A report by the Aurat Foundation, a women's rights organization based in Islamabad, stated there were 2,297 cases of violence against women from 25 districts across the country between January and December 2020, a period when people were forced to stay at home because of restrictions imposed due to COVID-19. The State of Human Rights in Pakistan report for 2020, released by Human Rights Commission of Pakistan, has painted a concerning picture regarding gender disparity and crimes against women. It stated there were 430 cases of honor killing in the country in 2020, in which 363 women and 148 men lost their lives. It is also pointed out that the Global Gender Gap Index of the World Economic Forum, Pakistan occupies 151st position out of 153 countries. Women rights activists have time and again flagged the culture of sexism and rampant misogyny in the country. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan recently quoted controversy for blaming women for rising sexual violence in the country. In an interview with journalist Jonathan Swan on HBO, which aired on June 20, he said, if a woman is wearing very few clothes, it will have impact on the man unless they are robots. It's a common sense. Earlier this year in an interview Geo News, Khan had said that sexual violence was a product of obscenity which he described as a Western import. Moreover, Pakistani Nobel Peace Prize laureate Mala Yousafzai's comments a recent interview with British Vogue. She had expressed doubts about whether she would ever marry and that she didn't understand why people had to marry, provoked strong outrage and venomous social criticism on social media. Why is the demand to get the bill reviewed by CII being criticized? Those who are supporting the bill have criticized the demand to get it reviewed by the CII, which is a body that advises the legislature on whether or not a certain law is repugnant to the injunctions of Islam. In 2016, the council had proposed a law that would allow a husband to lightly beat his wife. If needed, it also called for gender segregation in schools, hospitals, and offices. Moreover, the Council had in 2016 rejected a similar proposed legislation, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Domestic Violence Against Women Bill, stating that it was religious law. Women's rights activists have criticized the move and questioned the decision to send the bill to the Council for review, when this was not the practice for other proposed legislation. The bill was reintroduced in the Provincial Assembly in 2019. Thank you.